I am Hunter.
Let me tell you a little bit about what it takes to get to Australia. Minneapolis to LA, LA to Sydney, Sydney up to Darwin, Darwin back to the east to Gove, and then finally, after 26 hours, I get to get on a charter plane. And that last hour to get in the bush, to get away from everything, from internet access, cell phone service, is beautiful. Australia is nothing like I imagined. I knew it was going to be flat, but I had no idea it was going to be this thick, this lush, and this green.
Hey, Luke, come check this out, mate.
Like anywhere we go, I did my homework, especially when traveling all the way to Australia. We picked out Simon Kyle Little of Australian Big Game Safaris. Now, he knows buffalo.
This is just what we're looking for. It's a good track, good buffalo, and there's a set of water holes down here, so we're going to follow that one in. He's not too far away.
The really unique thing about Simon's allocation is that he's smack in the middle of an Aboriginal reserve. He's got 2.3 million acres. You know how many buffalo you can get on 2.3 million acres? A lot.
That bull's come past, rubbed that tree. Okay, so he's on that trail straight into those water holes. We're on the money, mate. We keep following him.
When I tell a lot of people that I'm hunting water buffalo, they go, Cape buffalo? No, water buffalo. These buffalo hang out, and I mean hang out in the water, completely submerged to feed. Yeah, the horn configuration's a little different, but they're just as big, they're just as mean, and they are just as aggressive.
Now we've actually got a fresh bull track. He's coming from the side here. That track you saw back was a cow track.
Yeah.
So what's happening is they're funneling in as we get closer to the water hole, and they hit that trail. After feeding all night, walk straight to water. So we're getting close.
Simon is all about baptism by fire. If you're coming to Australia to hunt buffalo with Simon, you're in for the full experience. We headed right into the bush, following these trails, into these water holes, and of course, Simon being Simon, spending years with these buffalo on this dirt, we were on tracks immediately.
I started out my career 30 years ago to the west, but I found a better area here. And I proved it with the Aborigines. They didn't want me in the beginning, but they were terrified I was going to somehow kill all their buffalo. They did not understand the hunting business. But once they became educated as to what a hunter really was, that meant someone that came in would pay them a price for their animals and just shoot one or two trophy animals and not kill all the calves and cows. They understood the game after a couple of years, and then it expanded. They asked, and that's how my territory grew from a smaller area to over 2.5 million acres.
As we get closer and closer and these tracks appear to be fresher and fresher, we're getting by this water hole, excitement gives way to a little bit of fear because these critters are big, the bush is thick. I don't know if the buffalo's 200 yards ahead of us, still walking away, or if he's 50 yards ahead of us, looking at us where we can't see him, waiting to come at us.
We need to listen as well, because they get in that water wallow, and you can hear that from a distance.
And of course, he no more than finishes that sentence, and I hear something running off in the bush. And at that moment, you have a split second where you don't know if this buffalo's running toward you or away. All you can hear is branches breaking and hooves thundering. Well, luckily for us, he was running away. Not luckily for us, we had to go find another buffalo.
What, 500 yards and he's still on the gallop? He's out of there. This one's down. It's not worth pursuing. We need to go, not waste our day. Go back to that water and keep going up, look for another bull.
Gotcha.
Yeah, all right.
26 hours on a plane, and you know me, I am not good enough to have the first stock pan out, so of course, we're on to plan B.
North American Hunter is brought to you by Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable. Ruger, rugged, reliable firearms. M&P, advanced by design. Can-Am off-road vehicles. Can-Am, the ride says it all. And by Matthews, catch us if you can.
So the big picture of what's happening is where you're going from water hole to water hole where these big black animals hang out during the middle of the day. So the first stock doesn't pan out. There are buffalo everywhere, and what do? We got on another trail, and we followed it and followed it and followed it. And we ended up getting into this little clearing where Simon said, you know what? We need to skirt around this trail a little bit to see if we can get ahead of him. And sure enough, we get out in the open and there's that buffalo. Now, I can get to this buffalo. He's in a very unique spot between two water holes. It works out good for us, not so good for him. But there's a lot of trees. That means good cover to get to him, but that's a lot of trees to shoot from. I can see this buffalo, but I can't exactly tell where he's going. Do I stay put or do we try to cut him off? So I'm shooting a 416 for this hunt. This buffalo is within 150 yards. I'm comfortable with that shot, but there are way too many trees. Simon says we need to get closer. We will be able to get closer. Now there's a lot of trees, but they're skinny. And when your hind end is as wide as mine is, there's no way you're gonna hide behind them. But thank God for the termite mounds, because I can get behind a termite mound and slip up on this buffalo, and that's exactly what we did.
All right. Okay, Luke, he's a good one.
As I'm waiting for this buffalo to get in the right spot through the tree so I can actually sneak a bullet in there, my guts are going everywhere because I've got a really big gun and I know it's gonna put down a really big animal if I put that bullet in the right spot. But again, that animal is right there and I have no idea if I can hold myself together to put that bullet where I need to. He finally, and I mean finally, got in a good spot where he stopped, quartering toward just a little bit, but Simon said, take him. You've got a good bullet, you've got a good shot,
I'm gonna take
it.
it. Ready? Go, go, go. Good shot. Beautiful shot.
As soon as I pulled the trigger, the tension immediately dropped for a second because all of a sudden I realized I gotta walk up to this critter.
Just watch him come the other side of him. Come this side. Mate, that was a good shot. First shot, well done. It dropped him.
Getting him to watch, or watching him come across this little opening here and just watch us and work toward us. I mean, we could just plant it and he came to us.
He's trying to get our wind. He was still on a circle and it was any moment now he got that wind and off, so that was your last opportunity.
I've heard all about the rush of hunting abroad, but now I get it.
I thought he would have been on water, but he was crossing between swamps and we found him. And the rest is history because you've done a pretty good job of putting this big boy down.
It's so cool to get out here in the open. I mean, because you're looking at these tracks and you're wondering what kind of horns are attached to the feet that this, the animal that's making these tracks. And after all those tense moments in that really thick bush, we get out here, catch him between watering holes and get to really have a great look at him and actually put a really good stalk on him. That's something I'm learning is highly addictive. You can't get that kind of feeling back home in the States when you're hunting whitetails.
Following a big game animal like this that can hit your back is a unique experience.
Yes, it is.
You need to shoot well, shoot straight, and hold your nerve. And they're the three key elements, and you just did that today, my friend.
I love it.
Good on you, buddy.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Even with all the cool things there are to see in Australia, the coolest part about this trip was getting to hunt with Ken Jorgensen of Ruger, and that also means I got to hunt with the best firearms in the world. You know, this is my first overseas trip, but I have very little to worry about. I've got a great travel companion, and I'm hunting with a great outfitter. Ken, being the gentleman that he is, of course, let me shoot first, and you saw exactly how that panned out. And you know what, Ken? Now it's your turn.
I'm riding in the back and all of a sudden the vehicle stops and we start backing up and I'm going, okay, I missed something here. What are we looking at? And at about that point I look over and I see this buffalo. It's got a broken horn. I'm thinking, well, he's a big boy, but he's only half there. And Simon says, that's a great trophy. That's a great old animal. This is something we ought to do. And I said, you know, that works for me.
This is a real old Duggar boy. A Duggar boy is an old bull that has been separated from the herd. He's no longer capable of fighting or retaining a herd. They are usually the best trophies. They have a life experience behind them. They're smart, hard to get onto, and always wary. He's got one broken horn, but I'm telling you, he's a great trophy. He's got massive paces. The other horn's intact, and if we can get on him, he'll be a fantastic hunt. So we haven't got a lot of time. He's moving his way into water, and the wind's parallel, but it's going to be noisy in the bush. So, bit by bit, there he goes now. We have to get him moving.
I mean, we're here. We're hunting to help control the herd. We got buffalo here that yeah, it's not maybe the prettiest in some people's eyes, but this is a great old animal with a lot of character. Let's do it.
See him coming through there now. He's going to come into this window here. Okay. That's our opportunity. Okay. I'm going to try and get you to that termite mound or that tree. You might shoot from the tree instead of using the sticks.
Okay. He's not a long ways away, and there's a fair amount of cover, but it's also very noisy. We got a lot of dead leaves on the ground. We got a lot of twigs on the ground. Things are going snap, crackle, and pop, and it's like, we got to watch this here. we got into a point where Simon said he's going to come through this opening here. Let's get set up. So we got in. I got up on a tree. I got the gun, you know, tucked in the shoulder. I got the dot set just the way I wanted. And he walks in, but he stops with a tree right in front of him too. It's like these guys they're smart. I guess that's how they get that old. And then he moves off. Well, we weren't going to have another shooting lane from where we were because we really needed shooting lanes. There's just lots of vegetation. We really needed to set up again. So Simon says, come on, let's go. So we pick up, we move. I don't know, we probably moved 15, 20 yards, and we're now where we can be ahead of him and watch him come through again. And we're sitting up there waiting, and he finally, you know, steps out. And he stepped out, and it was one of those things where I was ready. The dot was right where it was supposed to be, on the shoulder, halfway up the body, squeeze the trigger, and bang.
Go. Hit him again. That's good.
And he, I don't know, he probably went, I don't know, 20, 25 feet, maybe a little more, and turned and looked right at us. And Simon says, right below the chin.
Now, just below the nose. That's it. Good shot, Ken.
Bang, dropped him right there.
Man, that's a fantastic ball. That's a big bucket.
Thank you.
Reload.
It was textbook as far as everything Simon had told me to do. I just felt like it went together well and it ended well. We walk up to him and you see the mass. I mean, the unbroken horn is, you know, nice and long and curved, but the mass is just unbelievable. I mean, it's just this huge. I don't think I can get my hands around it, you know, both sides.
This is just a fantastic old buffalo, mate. This is a corker. He's an old boy and a true Duggar boy, big bull. He's been a dominant force with the cows for many, many years. He's held a herd of cows together. You can see that. He's lost that horn in a fight.
Okay.
And he's used it. Buffalo are like humans, left and right-handed. He's been using that horn, and then in one massive big fight one day, it broke off, and that was the end of his breeding days, I'm pretty sure.
So he was a lefty?
He was a lefty, mate. I'm sorry, but a true lefty.
Yeah,
a lefty of the right demographic.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat because this is an animal you realize really doesn't have a role in the herd anymore. You don't want to be taking out the animals that are going to be productive. This is a guy that, because he's lost a horn, he's not going to be able to fight, not going to be able to defend himself anymore. It's probably time for him to go. And it's a great trophy because, yeah, it's not going to be this nice symmetrical set of horns hanging on the wall, but they have a story behind them, and that's what I like.
North American Hunter is brought to you by Supercharged Scent Killer by Wildlife Research Center. 99% peak antifreeze. Radiator protection that's guaranteed. Peak. Run true. Burris Optics, home of the Eliminator 3 laser scope. Thompson Center, America's master gun maker. And by Zippo Outdoor Hand Warmers. Stay warmer, stay out longer.